Hello, everyone. JDev, creator of the JDev Entertainment Network, has returned once again to give you precisely what you want, which of course would be more of me, because I'm in such high demand, and quite frankly, I'm really all that you're going to need, especially with the coronavirus pandemic. Giving everybody my thoughts after watching UFC 249, not directly after watching UFC 249, but the next day, kind of my thoughts on the whole card in general. It's nice to see the UFC back in business. They're the first ones, unless you want to count WWE, but they never stopped anything. They just taped a bunch of stuff ahead of time and then aired that, like for WrestleMania and stuff. But UFC is back in business, and I am super, super hyped. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run down the whole card, my thoughts on each fight. You know, not every fight I paid super good attention to, but I'll do my best. Before I do that, though, if you haven't watched UFC 249 yet, and you want to watch it, and you don't know who won each fight, then I highly suggest that you don't watch this video, because I'm going to go over spoilers, and you probably don't want to know if you're trying to keep it secret, but I don't know how you can in this day and age. So, I predicted 7 out of the... Well, I did 12 predictions. Obviously, one fight didn't happen. Uriah Hall was supposed to fight Jacare Souza. That didn't happen due to Jacare testing positive for the coronavirus. So I had 11 predictions, and I got 7 of them right. I think that's pretty good. If you ask me, that's pretty damn good, and I'm proud of myself. There was one fight that I thought I could change my prediction, like right in the comment section under my predictions, that, you know what, I'm going to go this way due to seeing somebody at the weigh-in and the other guy not looking that impressive. But I'll talk about that when I get to that fight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at the top of the card and work my way down to the bottom of the card, going over what I noticed on each fight and kind of what happened. So the main event of the evening, El Kakui, Tony Ferguson, versus Justin the Highlight Gaethje for the UFC interim lightweight championship of the world. I got this fight right. I predicted Justin Gaethje to win, but I never in my wildest dreams thought that Justin Gaethje would dominate Tony Ferguson the way he did. I mean, he put a whooping on Tony Ferguson. It was haymakers left and right. But credit where credit is due to Tony Ferguson. The guy would not go down. He had to have Herb Dean save him with like a minute and 30 seconds left in the 5th round. But man, he dominated Tony Ferguson. I don't know if it was Tony Ferguson had spent too much time training for Khabib Nurmagomedov or something like that, but he had a month essentially to probably train for Justin Gaethje. I think somewhere around a month, like to switch strategies. But man, Tony got dominated. Or is Justin Gaethje just that good with, after his 2 losses, they had to kind of go back to the drawing board and think of different ways to win fights. But man, Justin Gaethje put on a show. I can't believe it. I mean, next up for Justin Gaethje, I hope, is Khabib. Unless he fights Conor at some point, that would be awesome. But I'm excited for either one of those fights. And I predicted Justin Gaethje to win, but I thought Tony Ferguson would probably get the job done. But I'm like, I got to go with Gaethje because I've seen too many good things from Gaethje. But then again, his opponents lately haven't been the best. I mean, Barbosa's past his prime. James Vick, I don't even know if he's even a top 15 contender. And then Cerrone's kind of on the downslope of his career. But beating the tar out of Tony Ferguson the way he did, Gaethje better be ranked number 1 or 2 at this point now. So what a fight. The co-main event of the evening for the UFC, Henry Cejudo defending his UFC Bantamweight Championship against Dominic Cruz. This one I didn't get right. Henry Cejudo knocks out Dominic Cruz. There was a questionable stoppage by Keith Peterson where Dominic Cruz was going to go for a level change, and Cejudo timed it right and got him a knee right into the side of his face. And Cruz went down. He was kind of crawling around on the octagon mat, and he looked like he was about to try to stand up, but you had 11 unanswered strikes by Henry Cejudo. I'm not super against the stoppage because I feel if Cruz would have stood up, he would have got knocked right back down. I mean, he certainly got rocked, I think. But, I mean, it is questionable, but I don't have a problem with it. I've seen other stoppages where I was livid, and that was not one of them. I did not want Cejudo to win But it is what it is. Dominic Cruz is going to have to go back to the drawing board. I don't know what's next for him, but certainly Henry Cejudo kind of threw a curveball, although he's been talking about it. He wants to retire. At 33 years old, Henry Cejudo wants to retire. And I don't know what else he wants to do, but that's a crazy turn of events. But we'll see what happens with that. But I'm okay with the stoppage. 11 unanswered strikes, and he was crawling around. I mean, that's not really defending yourself. Standing up is not defending yourself. So, anyway, in the heavyweight division, another fight that I got right. Francis Ngannou versus Terezio Rosenstrike. I'm surprised that this fight didn't last so long, and I'm surprised that Rosenstrike didn't do as much as I thought he should do. Ngannou wins with a knockout, another vicious knockout. I think, honestly, the first punch he connected with, that could have easily stopped the fight, too. Ngannou's a monster. There's no stopping him. And in my opinion, that fight should have been for an interim championship. I really do believe that. So it's unfortunate. But now Ngannou's got to wait for the winner of DC Stipe, which won't happen till the end of the year. So Ngannou needs to stay busy. So maybe another fight with Derek Lewis. Maybe. Of course, I wouldn't mind seeing Rosenstrike versus Derek Lewis as well. So we'll see what happens. Or maybe a returning Anthony Rumble Johnson can fight Ngannou, but Rumble will knock him out probably. That's just what Rumble does. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens with that, but hats off to Ngannou. He's quite impressive, and he's on a tear right now, knocking these guys out. Jeremy Stephens versus Calvin Kattar. Another fight I got right. Jeremy Stephens is kind of all or not. He goes for it, which is good, but he gets rocked, and he certainly got rocked tonight. It's unfortunate because I know a lot of Jeremy Stephens fans, but Calvin Kattar is really good, and he's one of those guys that's on the rise, so pay attention. In the heavyweight division, another fight that I think was probably one of the worst fights of the night, Yohan De Castro versus Greg Hardy. Greg Hardy wins. I kind of agree with Luke Thomas. He doesn't really have an identity. He doesn't have like a thing that that Greg Hardy does well. He was all about offense early, and now he's like better with defense. So I don't know. I'm not sure if how far up Greg Hardy will move up the rankings in heavyweight, but certainly if he could get some more power or be more offensive than defensive, it would certainly improve things. But the fight, I don't know. I think these guys can get into a little bit better shape and be a little bit more productive in UFC, but we'll see what happens. That was the end of the main card. Now to the prelims. We had Donald Cowboy Cerrone versus Anthony Showtime Pettis. Anthony Pettis wins with a questionable decision. I wasn't paying attention to that fight as I should have been. From what I saw of the fight, Pettis did good in terms of I saw Cowboy do a takedown and just lay on Pettis, and Pettis eventually stood up, but he didn't get any strikes in from what I recall. But I'll have to watch that fight over because a lot of people think Cerrone won, and even Anthony Pettis thinks that Cerrone, he didn't think he won. So we'll have to go back and watch that one again. But I don't know what's next for either of those two fighters. Cerrone, he's on a losing streak now, so we need to give him an easier challenge and let him try to get a victory. But we'll see what happens with that one. But congratulations to Showtime. In the heavyweight division, we had Alexei Oleinik versus Fabricio Werdum. When I started this video off, I said there was a fight that I wanted to change my prediction to, and this was the one. I was worried about Fabricio Werdum's physique. I thought, okay, he's had a couple of years off. Maybe he'll get into better shape. And he lost some weight, but he didn't gain much muscle. He didn't look very impressive at the weigh-ins. But when I saw Alexei Oleinik stand on the scale, he looked damn good. And I didn't watch this fight super close because it was kind of, these old guys are kind of slow and boring. But this was the fight that I wanted to change my prediction from yesterday. I almost commented on my predictions video that I wanted to, hey, I'm predicting Oleinik to beat Werdum now, due to what I saw at the weigh-ins, and I was right. So, congratulations to Alexei Oleinik. He should move up the rankings because of Werdum's history of beating Fedor and Cain Velasquez. All right, we had Carlos Esparza versus the karate hottie Michelle Waterson. I got this one right. I predicted Carlos Esparza to win. I really didn't even hardly watch this fight at all. I watched like a minute or two of it. Had a lot of people over at Club J Dev, and I'll put some live reactions to some rounds of fights on the channel, maybe today or tomorrow. Probably round 5 of Gaethje versus Ferguson, I'm thinking. But I predicted our Esparza to win just because I haven't really liked what I've seen from Waterson, other than her fight with Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Nico Price versus Vicente Luque. I predicted Nico Price to win. He got a really bad cut, though, so Vicente Luque won due to doctor stoppage. It was a good fight, though. For how long it lasted, it was a good fight. It was quite entertaining. It was actually a round 3 doctor stoppage, so we got a pretty good taste of these two guys, and this is their second time fighting, so wish I would have predicted Vicente Luque to win, but I didn't. I can't get them all right. We had Charles Rosa versus Bryce Mitchell. Bryce Mitchell was very good. He's got a grappling style and crazy submissions. Like he's trying to do the twister to Charles Rosa, and it was just sheer domination on the ground with submissions and techniques and getting into full mount, into another submission, back to full mount. Oh, this position, this submission. It was a unique fighter that I haven't really seen before. I haven't seen anybody do that in the octagon. And there's probably been somebody that's done that. I just haven't been able to witness it. Somebody brings to mind Brian Ortega, and I haven't really seen many of Brian Ortega's fights. I know about Brian Ortega, but haven't seen much. And then the first fight of the night, we had Smiling Sam Alvey take on Ryan Spann in the light heavyweight division. I got this one right. I predicted Ryan Spann, like I predicted Bryce Mitchell to win. And he had a really good choke early on, like a standing choke against Sam Alvey. But Alvey did good, got out of that, and he eventually lost by decision to Ryan Spann. And it was pretty entertaining fight. They were getting at it a little bit. So all in all, pretty good card. I mean, obviously, I would have give fight of the night. The Gaethje Ferguson, I know they gave fight of the night to Gaethje Ferguson, and I think they gave a performance bonus also to Gaethje for like performance tonight, and then one to Francis Ngannou. Fight of the night, I might have gave to Vicente Luque and Nico Price, or possibly Calvin Kattar and Jeremy Stevens. I'd have to go back and watch both fights, but I mean, Ferguson Gaethje was good, but it was more one-sided. To me, that doesn't make the best fight, but oh well. Ngannou, that's a great performance tonight. I don't know. Bryce Mitchell deserved a performance of the night because that submission, what he was doing, getting into mount, then getting into this, and then getting into that, was pretty fucking impressive. So keep your eye on him at 145 featherweight division. So all in all, again, I liked the card. It was a lot of fun. Justin Gaethje took things to another level, and whether his next fight is against Conor McGregor, which probably won't happen, or Khabib Nurmagomedov, they better train hard for a game Justin Gaethje. So that's all I have to say about it. I want to hear what you think, so go ahead and leave a comment. Anything you want to talk about, UFC related. Preferably UFC 249, but I'm okay with anything. Tell me your favorite fights, your favorite fighters, all-time rankings, whatever you want to do. Go ahead and hit that sub button, subscribe to the channel, smash the like button, and share if you want. And of course, you know that JDev will most definitely return.